Welcome back to my channel. This is still on interval. This is interval part 3. We've done part 1, we've done part 2. If you have not seen them, please, they're available in the channel. In the part 1, I talked about the quantity of interval. In the part 2, I explained in details major interval. So in this part 3, I will be explaining minor interval. So what is minor interval? All right. So we still need to borrow some things are explained in the word in the part 2, that is major interval. In the major interval, I explained that in a major scale, the first degree or the first note to the second note is called a major second. The first note to the third note is called a major third. The first note to the sixth note is called a major sixth. And the first note to the seventh note is called what? A major seventh. So we did not talk about the first note to the fourth and the fifth. We'll reserve that for the next video. We won't be talking about perfect intervals. All right. So majorly, we have 4 major intervals from this method. We have major second, major third, major sixth, and major seventh. That is, we do not have major fourth. We don't have major fifth. Okay? We only have 4 majors: second, third, sixth, and seventh. Now, what does this have to do with minor? A lot. For every major interval, we can derive our minor interval. And when any major interval, when it gets reduced, it becomes a minor interval. So when we are reducing a major, we are reducing the major by a semitone, or what we call half step. For instance, C to D is a major second, but C to D flat becomes what? A minor second, because where the D has been reduced by half step. So when we reduce a note, we use flat. Flat is used to reduce a note, while sharp is used to increase the pitch of a note. And I said we derive our minor intervals from major. When major is reduced by semitone, it becomes what? A minor interval. So C to D flat is a minor second. All right. Now C to E is a major third, but C to E flat is a what? A minor third. So let me write them there. So here C to D flat is a minor second. So normally we use small letter m for minor, small letter m. Then C to E flat, minor third. All right. Then C to A, which is the sixth note, is a major sixth. But the moment the A gets reduced, it becomes A flat. Therefore, C to A flat is a what? A minor sixth. All right. Then C to B, the seventh. C to B is a major seven. But here, B gets reduced to B flat. Therefore, C to B flat is a what? A minor seventh. The same approach will be used here. All right. Now, what happens to the notes that are already raised? Like in the case of F sharp, here F sharp and C, they are raised. Okay. Now, what happened? Now, in this case, G to F sharp is a what? Is a major seventh. G to F sharp is a major seventh. All right. But so how do we reduce a note that is already raised with sharp? All right. This is it. When a note is already raised with sharp and we want to reduce that note by semitone, we just want to remove the sharp. When the sharp is removed, the note has been what? Lowered. Therefore, G to F is a minor seventh. But G to F sharp, it's a what? A major seventh. So this is minor seventh, G to F. Okay. Also here, D to F sharp, first note to third note, is a major third. So how do we change that to a minor third? By taking away the sharp. So when the sharp is taken away, so it becomes D to F. So D to F is a what? A minor third. Do you understand that? The same thing here. D to F sharp is a major seventh, but D to C, as a D to C sharp rather, D to C sharp is a major seventh. All right, but D to C is a what? Minor seventh. I hope you understand that. So let's come up here to the staff. On the staff here, I have 5 intervals. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's try and describe them one after the other. From number 1, what are the notes there? The root of the interval is in the second line, and our second line is letter G. Therefore, we are dealing with the scale of G major. So the second note there is in the third line. Third line of a treble staff is letter B. So we are dealing with G to B. So G to B is a what? A major third. Now here, I want to reduce this guy here. G to B flat. So don't forget, before the flat, it was a major third because we're dealing with G to B, first note to the third note. Now, the third guy now is reduced to B flat, and that is what I just done here. G to B flat. So G to B flat is a what? A minor third. Okay. So you see, we are using the major as a reference point. All right. So let's check the next one. All right. The root of the interval is in what? First space, and the first space is letter F. So we come to the scale of F major. And the next note is on the what? The fourth line. The fourth line is letter D, the treble staff. So we are dealing with F to D. So the D is the word, the sixth note. All right. F to D. D is the sixth note. So F to D is a major sixth. But here I reduce this D, becomes D flat. So that becomes what? A minor sixth. Minor sixth. See, we use the lowercase m for minor. Or you can write your minor in full. You can just write MIN as minor. All right. Then the third interval, we have third space. Third space is letter C. And then again, the fifth line is letter D. So C to D. C to D is a major second. But here we have D flat. So C to D flat is what? Minor second. Minor second. Interval number 4, we have F space 1 to space 3. Space 3 is A. So F to A. F to A. First note to the third note in the scale of F major is a major third. But here I reduce A. So A is reduced. Therefore, reducing the space between them. And I said when a major is reduced, it becomes minor. So F to A flat is minor third. All right, are you getting that? Minor third. Now let's go to the last interval there, interval number 5. We have F to what? Space 1 up to space 4. Space 1 is still F, and space 4 is letter E. So we have F to E, that is the seventh. So F to E is a major seventh. But the moment the E is lowered, When the E is lowered, it becomes a minor seventh. Minor seventh becomes a minor seventh. You can see we always derive our minor from major. Now, in case you are wondering, how come it's always the second note of the interval that is getting reduced? What if we reduce the root note of the interval? What do we get? Now, a lot of times students always ask me, why is it only the second note we are reducing? Why can't we reduce the first note of the interval? Yes, the first note of the interval can be reduced as well. But when you reduce the first note of the interval, what do you think happened to the distance between the notes? Does it get reduced or increased? It doesn't get reduced. The space between them become increased. This is what I'm talking about. Let's use this as an example. Let me knock off this. Let us reduce the flat. We have F to E. But when we reduce our F, when F gets reduced, what happens? It what only increases because F is now reduced, step backward. Therefore, increases the space, the interval. Okay, so when a major gets increased, it's no more a minor. It becomes an augmented interval. But I don't want to talk about augmented interval here. Well, our concern is minor interval because there's still a video coming up about augmented interval. So by the time we get there, I will explain those one in details. If you still have questions, please drop it in the comment section. All right. Now, and sometimes I've seen in some Muson questions asking candidates to describe interval. Let's consider this. Okay. The moment you come across this kind of question, you will say this is the scale of F major, right? Because there's a symbol here, this guy here, indicating this question, the music is in the scale of F major. And we now have the notes here. This is G, line 2, and here, line 5, F. Don't be deceived. Don't get tricked. In as much the note of the interval, they are here, G to F. Forget about this guy here. Forget about the key signature here. It does not affect the question. Okay, you are still dealing with the scale of what? G major. All right. So G to F. What is G to F? Go back to what? The scale of G major. G to F sharp. Don't forget in the scale of G major, we have F sharp here. All right. It was in the course of what? Explaining minor that I took away the sharp. G to F sharp is a major seventh. But G to F is a what? A minor seventh. A minor seventh. I hope you understand that. Then another thing that student can also can be curious about. What if? Okay, let me also um, give an example here. Here we have two sharps, and two sharps indicate the scale of what? D major. Now consider this interval. Consider this in the scale of D major. We have let's say A. We have A, and we have this space 2 to space 3. And the question, we are given the scale of D major. All right. So here, this note here is A. And what is this note here? Space 3. Don't say it's C. It is not C. Because here, the key signature indicates we're in the scale of D major. So in the scale of D major, we don't have C. What we have is C sharp. Okay. In the scale of D major, we do not have C. What we have is C sharp. Okay. Therefore, we are not dealing with A to C. Because here, Here, look at this note here, C sharp, and look at the sharp here, written on this guy here, on the third space. So what we are dealing for this interval is A to C sharp. Okay. So that means we are dealing with the scale of A major. And the scale of A major, the third note of A major is C sharp. Therefore, A to C sharp is a what? A major third. Okay. But if this key signature, if this guy is not putting, is not written here, if we don't have the second sharp there, okay, we don't have it there. We only have one sharp here. And one sharp indicates the scale of what? G major. In the scale of G major, what we have there is letter C. We do not have C sharp. Okay, so this becomes A to C. So A to C in the scale of A major, C sharp is the third note. So when you take away the sharp of the C, you have reduced the interval. So A to C is a what? A minor third. While A to C sharp is a what? Major third. What I'm saying is that when the key signature is written, or when the key signature is written there, you have to be what? Very, very smart. You have to be very, very smart. You have to ask yourself, does the key signature, does any of the notes in the key signature affect the sharp? Do they have sharps or flat in the what? In any of the notes in the interval? Here, this is G major, and we have A and C. So none of the notes has sharp. So you just treat them casually like that. But if in this case we have a sharp here, it can't be treated casually because this sharp here, the key signature, is affecting this guy, affecting the C, make this guy C sharp. I hope you understand that. Then one more thing to round up this video is the fact that dealing with interval, the notes can be what? Aligned. When the notes are aligned, like in this case, G to B, when they are aligned, it is called, the interval is written harmonically. Okay, but when they are not aligned, we have B to B, the interval is written melodically. It does not change the answers. They are the same thing. We treat them equally. We undo them the same way. Either interval are written harmonically or melodically. It's still the same solution. It's still the same answer. The most important thing are the letters of the interval. I hope you understand this. If you have any question, you can drop them in the comment section. Don't forget to like, share. If you have not subscribed, please do so. Thank you. See you in the part 4 where I'll be talking about perfect interval.